Everybody, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Friday.
Brian, do you want to do the yes?
Yeah, I'll do it.
You coward.
Are you just incapable of being happy? Is that it?
I'm genuinely always like really happy, but my voice is just like forever sounds sarcastic and bored, so I don't know.
I respect that. I get that.
That's Friday! Yes!
It's not every day that we get to talk about a game that's making history, but today we do.
Yeah, yesterday's XO19 event in London, developer DONTNOD unveiled what many say is the first transgender protagonist from a major studio.
Yeah, the game is called Tell Me Why, and it's set in Alaska. It's about two twins, Allison and Tyler Ronan, who are reunited after being driven apart by a traumatic event a decade ago.
Yeah, it's another narrative-heavy, story-driven game, the kind of which DONTNOD is known for making. You probably know them best as the developers of Life is Strange, but they also made a more action-heavy game called Remember Me.
Never played Remember Me. Did play Life is Strange. Cringy dialogue.
Yeah.
But they're teenagers, so maybe it's just cringy teen dialogue.
What better studio to handle this issue?
Exactly, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I liked Life is Strange. The dialogue was cringe town. I hope that the dialogue is better for this game. We'll see. Anyway, one of the twins, Tyler Ronan, is a trans man who's also played by the trans actor August Aiden Black.
Yeah, so this is a win. They're actually having a trans actor playing a trans character.
Yeah, why is that important, Brian?
Well, it's important. It's been a painful point for some in the LGBT community who criticized actors like Scarlett Johansson and Jared Leto in the past for playing transgender characters, saying basically that it showed there were limited opportunities for transgender actors.
Right, yeah, it's making that argument of if there is a role for a transgender actor to fill, they should absolutely have the opportunity to fill it. There's plenty of trans actors out there, so.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. I'm a cis white male. I can play anything.
Hell yeah.
As I said to Brian earlier, I'm a straight woman, so I'm basically just as bad.
Yeah, y'all are the number 2 worst. We're
true.
still the champs. I mean,
We still hold that trophy though, and ain't no one coming for our throne.
no, we're a dynasty, baby.
Back to Tell Me Why, it's being hailed by some outlets as a historic first, and it looks like they're taking a lot of care to get it right. To create the character of Tyler, the game's director, Florent Guillaume, and Joseph Staten, senior creative director at Xbox, worked with the LGBTQ media advocacy organization, GLAAD.
Yeah, Guillaume said that GLAAD helped them understand the hopes, fears, and lives of trans people. GLAAD also reviewed the game's script and advised on character development. Awesome, very cool. We also had our own Caden look at this script, didn't we, Brian?
Oh yeah. Usually I don't need any help, but I sure did this time.
You cis white men.
Please make sure I don't get canceled.
Yeah. Brian, what did Staten tell the Hollywood Reporter?
Oh, all kinds of stuff. Staten said one of the things that GLAAD did that was especially helpful was they gave us a history lesson, not just in games, but in media as well, the good and the bad. It's been really important for everyone on the project to understand the history of LGBTQ representation and transgender representation in games to make sure we did our best to get it right. So definitely did their homework on this one.
Nick Adams, GLAAD's director of transgender representation, said that Microsoft and DONTNOD have approached Tyler with a real commitment to authenticity. Adams added, Tyler is a fully realized, endearing character whose story is not reduced to simplistic trans tropes. Creating a playable lead trans character and taking such care to get it right raises the bar for future LGBTQ inclusion in gaming.
Staten also said that Microsoft fully supported the story, saying they're committed to the idea of gaming for everyone. It's also probably good business, right?
I mean,
Come on.
They don't want you to talk about that. What else did Staten say, Brian?
Staten added, we need to bring in diverse experiences. It's been really important to do this right, to do it thoughtfully. Tyler had to be authentic, but also just a courageous, strong, wonderful character. So very, very nice sentiments there.
Yeah, it's nice they're not just making it trans bait. I don't know if that's what you would call it, but they're not just like, this is a trans character, buy the game.
Yeah, Guillaume said that Tyler wasn't always going to be a trans man, but added that we wanted these characters who were born identical to have lived very different lives, and it was while exploring this path that we came up with the idea of having a trans character.
Yeah, the story revolves around the twins and their childhood, which is marked by a traumatic experience, like we said before. Guillaume said that the twins are connected by a supernatural bond, which allows them to share their thoughts and feelings. They also have the ability to interact with past memories, to recall and relive them. That's a very DONTNOD thing to do.
Yeah, the game also raises issues of perspective with the two characters remembering some events differently, and choosing which one you believe shapes the story.
So it does sound like there's some Rashomon-esque elements in this thing, which is super cool. And DONTNOD has explored sexuality in past games, right, Brian?
Yeah, in Life is Strange 2, players can decide whether one of the main characters likes either males or females, and a prequel, Before the Storm, explored a queer romance that was front and center in the story. They've stumbled a bit sometimes and maybe not handled some things as well as they could have, but to their credit, DONTNOD has worked to get things right and improve.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the first couple of times they try to do a game like this is probably gonna stumble a little bit, but I appreciate that they're still trying to do it. They're obviously caring enough to do their homework and make it as authentic and realistic as possible.
And Tyler certainly isn't the first trans character in a video game. One of the most visible was the mercenary commander Krem in Dragon Age Inquisition back in 2013. Oh my god.
2013!
2013!
Ned Weiner, a transgender man, was a minor character in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. The character Vicenna in Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear is a transgender woman, but a transgender protagonist seems like a first. Outlets like Mashable were saying Tyler is the first ever playable transgender protagonist.
At least in a AAA game, because indies have been way ahead of the curve on this.
Yeah.
Most notably Dream Daddy, which was notably very trans inclusive.
And it's part of a trend, however slowly, that we've seen over the years as video games become more inclusive.
Yeah, back in the 80s, LGBT characters, if they existed at all, were cliched or played for laughs or both.
Yeah, there was also the character of Poison in Final Fight, but that was only in Japan, where the decision was more of a compromise to avoid issues of violence against women. And the US version, Poison was changed to a male character.
But even in modern games, there have been issues. The writer Ki-Hoon Chan noted that in GTA 5, the player can choose to spew transphobic bile to transgender characters like, hello sir, I mean madam, I mean whatever.
And in Catherine, Toby was horrified to learn that he lost his virginity to Erica, a transgender woman, and this was played for laughs.
BioWare included a transgender character, Hanley Abrams, in Mass Effect Andromeda, but got some criticism over her portrayal. Like everything else in that game, to be fair. I don't know if that was their biggest issue with that game, but
Just
certainly.
add one more criticism to the trash fire.
Yeah, the developer later apologized though, right Brian?
Yeah, they said that Abrams was not included in a caring or thoughtful way. There have been some bright spots too. We talk about protagonists. The upcoming Cyberpunk 2077 has won praise after it was reported that the game's character creation system won't have gender options. LGBT advocates saw that as a win for inclusivity. Oh, and the DLC for Celeste, that was the great platformer, seemed to indicate that the protagonist Madeline was transgender as well.
But Guillaume told The Guardian that the new game is part of a growing understanding that video game player characters need to be more representative.
Yeah, he said, I think the industry has reached a level of maturity where we can go deeper into diverse stories and experiences. Through games, we can give players a bridge to the characters, to connect with them, to be comfortable with them.
Waypoint asked Microsoft if any trans creatives were involved in the game, and Staten responded, we brought many transgender players in for user research, testing, and feedback through development. We also received guidance and feedback from transgender friends and colleagues to build genuine and authentic characters.
Translation, no.
Yeah.
I have black friends, I promise.
That's exactly what that is.
So like we said, that is mostly outside sources as opposed to direct guidance from actual team members on the game.
Sounds like they're trying at least. I don't know. I can't tell if that's a PR statement or not. But the game will be released next year over 3 chapters on Xbox One and PC.
And unlike previous DONTNOD games, they say that the chapters for Tell Me Why will release on a clear and predictable schedule.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well,
This is a historic game in many ways.
Yeah.
Peter Weiss, general manager for Xbox Game Studio Publishing, said, we listened closely to fans of narrative adventure games, and we heard loud and clear how painful, unpredictable gaps between episodes can be.
I mean, yeah, of course.
I'll have to burp.
Just ask Valve.
Episode 3, coming soon.
Did you hear that?
Weiss went on to say that the entire Tell Me Why story will release in the summer of 2020.
That's cool. It's like a bingeable series.
Guess so, yeah. What a weird idea to release an entire game at once.
That's crazy talk.
You're being sarcastic,
Hang
but
on.
I was like, that's weird. That's unique. How sad is that?
A
Jesus
whole
Christ.
game coming out at the same time?
Oh, Brian's gone. Well, I guess this is a good place to start the
Bye-bye.
episode. Bye, Brian. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Have a good weekend.
No. Bye. I just reconnected to say bye.
Dad's back.
We
to
love
say
you, Brian.
bye.
I love you, kids. Get your oil changed.
No! How am I supposed to see the shiny new clothes I worked so hard to get and grinded my ass off? I can't wear wraparound sunglasses and a leather jacket in real life. At least let me do it in a video game. Jeez.
Why can't you do that in real life?
Because people laugh at me. They won't serve me at the Jack in the Box.
He did indicate that you still get to see your character sometimes.
He added the quote, players will still be